So what we have here is our outlet circuit. This is the outlet circuit drawing. I mean, there's almost no other options as far as wiring outlets together. There is going to be a switch controlled outlet that we're going to do in the next lab or a later lab. I'm not quite sure where that is. I just want to quickly go over this wiring diagram with you guys, and then I'll go ahead and we'll turn you loose, give you a shot at this. Now, some of the stuff I want to point out is we haven't really talked about some of the writing that might be up here and what they're talking about. So the first thing I want to show you guys is this 12-2. So what they're using for this circuit is going to be a number 12 wire or 12 gauge wire, and it is going to have 2 strands inside of that loom. We're going to go ahead and we're going to use a different wire. We're going to just use some 14 gauge wire that's all single stranded or all single or they're not in a loom, I guess. So we're going to use that just like we did in the previous lab. Some of the other stuff I want to point out is over here it's got white wire attached to white or silver terminal screws. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the actual outlet here in a second, but you will notice that sometimes the screws are, silver chrome looking, I guess you could call it, and some are brass, some are green. Some are also black when we get into the switches, and we will talk about that separately too. I also want you to notice that this black wire comes into this outlet and then it goes out right here. Now, again, in a second, I'm going to show you this outlet, and these 2 terminals are actually connected by the back plate. So this is actually connected from here over to here, and we'll talk about that again in a second. Also, we will not be able to mount our ground into the box because we are using plastic boxes. So just be aware of that. And then again, we are going to always mount our ground into our circuit right here. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at that outlet, and then let's get started on the actual circuit. All right, so let's take a look at our actual our outlets. So one of the things I wanted to point out, and I talked about this just a little bit, let me go ahead and zoom in here. You can see that this terminal is connected with this terminal through this bridge right here. Now, that bridge can be removed. It could be cut out of there, but once it's cut out, it's gone. Now we also have our green screw right here, and again, we have our silver on this side and brass on the other one, okay? So just remember, silver goes to the white and brass always goes to the hot or the black wire, okay? So when you're hooking these up, just make sure you do that. And again, if you're gonna hook a wire into one side, it can come out of the other terminal to go ahead and continue it on, okay? So let's go ahead and look at the actual circuit. We've got it all put together here. Okay, so we can go ahead and we can plug something into this if you'd like, and we can test it that way. Let me just go ahead and put this in there. This is not really made to have things put into it like that, but this is one option that we do have. So, and then we can turn on our object, see, and it powers up the light. So that's how we could tell if this is working. When you go ahead and you submit this one, let me go ahead and pull this out. Be very careful when you're pulling stuff in and out of those, okay? If you decide to do that. When we go ahead and we submit this, what I'd like you to do is take your pen and just walk through each terminal, showing me that there's power in each one of these plugs. You can also do this with a multimeter if you don't have access to this or it's being used, okay? So just go down each one and show me that it's got power all the way across. Now, ultimately, all you really are doing is linking up the hots and the neutrals and the grounds. This is really a pretty basic circuit. It's got a lot of wires and a lot happening. So it's okay if you need to pull the actual components off the board to attach all the wires. It's gonna take a little bit more finesse to put this guy together. Otherwise, it's not a bad lab at all. Go ahead and get started. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Good luck.